Hi, one of you or all of you or none of you might be asking yourself right now, Miguel, why is your shirt so sweaty? Why are you so sweaty? And why does your hair look a little bit weird and disheveled? Well, one, I fixed my hair up, so it was worse before. Two, I just walked for about an hour and a half or so, something like that, and spent $300 on the camera. Alright, and boom, there she is. Isn't she a beauty? That, my friends, is a Canon Rebel T6i. If you knew before, maybe you didn't know, before I had a Nikon Coolpix P530, and it wasn't necessarily doing the trick for me. It was time for an upgrade, and so now that I have an upgrade, I can do a lot better with my vlogs and get a much higher quality and take better pictures. By the way, if you didn't know, now you know, I have an Instagram account. Focus Photos, f.o.c.u.s.photos. I know, original, but it works. It did stand for something. I don't remember what it does now. What we're doing today is Andy Mineo's The Sword, Chapter 2. Chapter 2, The Sword, however you want to say it. I listened to Chapter 1 when it first came out. At the first listen, I didn't really like it because it didn't feel like a full project. It felt kind of like spontaneous, spur of the moment kind of thing. It didn't seem like he was actually putting effort into it. But the more I listened and the more I started to hear about, you know, the story behind it, it eventually became my favorite EP, and it is definitely in my top 5 of 2018. Definitely top 10 of probably all of 2000 albums since 2000. Point is, I'm going to be listening through this entire thing right here, right now. After every song, I'm going to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like. It's 22 minutes long. It shouldn't be that bad. I'm going to be putting in my nifty, shameless plug here. Hopefully I can get an endorsement, right? My nifty Licks Studio earphones. Opinion on the intro? It's literally an intro. It's like a minute and 14 seconds. I think it's a pretty sound intro. It sounds like actually an intro that would be for an entire album. I didn't think he would do something specifically for an EP. It's definitely different than Chapter 1. This, it seems like track 1 and track 2 are gonna mesh together, and it's just gonna, you're not even gonna really hear the track switch, and I think that's really cool. I might as well just go ahead and do track 2 right here and now. His beats are so clean lately. So track 2 there. He puts so much effort into these beats. These never-ending change. Am I gonna have to put that many layers into a song? It's literally just creatively what he feels, and I can tell he has a lot to say. Wow, I like I like it a lot. I do like it. I got nothing really bad to say. I mean, in the beginning it sounded like some of the instruments were kind of panned to one side. Friends are real with each other, friends are honest with each other. I feel that. I definitely felt that. Okay, so that was track 4, None of My Business. He's got some bars in this one. He's throwing a lot of shade. This was one of his easier songs to just kind of, I think production-wise, just kind of beat-wise, this was one of the easier songs to pass on. Crazy is one of the shorter songs on this list. Doing things a little bit recklessly. It's a little bit like None of My Business, only this one is more personal. Throwing shade at myself kind of thing. I'm sure, like I keep saying this, but I'm sure I'll have tons more to say after the second or third listen through. And it's featuring 2 artists, Fonte and Kristen Gray. So I'm excited to see which one he's referring to, if he's not referring to both, because I know Kristen's got some rhymes, and I've heard of Fonte. I haven't really like sat down and listened to him, but I know he's a respected artist and he's doing his thing. He said John Bellion worked on this album too, or in this EP too. I have a feeling he was in Donuts, just because John Bellion is a big Jay Dilla fan. He posted a little snippet on this on Instagram, and it was very pocketed, very like John Bellion kind of feel. So I'm excited for this. Here we go. Friends or Donuts? Oh man. Okay. Donuts is very, I love the beat on Donuts. This is, for the first time I can say for sure, this is a simple beat. Okay, it's very pocketed. It's very simple melody. This is more focused on the bars. This is more focused on the delivery of the lyrics. And I can tell Andy kind of took the back seat on this one, let Fonte kind of go forward, because this beat is just like, you could do so much with this lyrically. You can just go on forever with this one. It's cool. It's cool of him because I feel like these EPs are very intimate for him. For him to say, you know what, I'm going to take a back seat on one of my tracks and just let somebody else take control, I think it's very neat of him, you know. I've heard 6 out of 7 tracks so far. This is not as intimate as Chapter 1 was. This is very honest. He's kind of keeping that same trope, but he's going a lot bigger. I feel like so far it's been a lot less emotion. I did hear that Shame, which is the next track, was his most vulnerable one. Maybe he put all of his emotional vomit into Shame and just kind of let the other 6 speak for themselves. Who knows? Shame, I can say it definitely took some honesty, it took some transparency with this track for sure. Personally, I don't know if Josh Garrels was the right guy for this. I think on Shame, personally, like it hits this climax. He should have went hard on that one. He should have been like, yo, this is how to get out of this pit. You know, Jesus can wash away all of my sins, yes, but how has he done that in your life? And just like a spit a verse on that. You know, not even like a full 16, just maybe 8, 12, 4, whatever. Just go ham on that part. You just I feel like he left it open. Personally, I do relate to Shame. I think it's great that he put that out there, and I'm glad he's doing this. I'm glad he's hitting home on these things that a lot of Christian rappers aren't hitting on. I love Josh Garrels. He's a great singer. He's one of my top when it comes to being in your feels, kind of. But I don't know if vocally he was the right choice. He said that Chad from King's Kaleidoscope, but he was on this. I could definitely hear that King's Kaleidoscope influence in the production. I think overall, Andy Mineo focused more on production than on content. This is just for Chapter 2. Now, he did a good job of sticking to every topic of the track, and I think that takes a lot of creativity and skill within itself to just stay on a topic for an entire song. His delivery on point, as always. Overall, I think for an EP, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like the perfect EP ever to exist, this would be on like a 7.8 kind of scale, you know, like a 7.8. Yes, he did focus on production more, but he did it in a way that sounds uniform. This is a body of work that could be by itself. I think there's some elements missing. I feel like there's something missing with this one, whereas with Chapter 1, it didn't really feel like anything was missing, like that was it. That felt more complete than this, even though Chapter 1 only had less tracks. You know what I mean? I felt this need for Christian hip-hop to speak to the people that don't necessarily want to turn up all the time, but those that want to hear something real, something valuable, that still preaches the gospel, that still preaches the truth to them, that they can still play in front of their moms. I like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, but I can't go and play that in front of my mom, you know? So thank you, Andy Mineo, for doing this and opening the door. And The Sword, great. 7.8 out of 10. Production was flames. The lyrics were there. The delivery was there. I don't think the content was up to par with Chapter 1. If you want to see more album reviews, hit me up, comment, send me a message. I'm sure a lot of you have me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Contact me, hit me up. You know, hey, have you checked out da-da-da came out, whenever. And if I haven't heard it yet, I'll take a listen. If I have heard it and I thought, you know, I think it would be a great thing to do a review on, I'll definitely do it. I'm probably going to do it anyway just because I like doing these things. I'm glad I have 2 angles now. It's going to take a lot more to edit though. Yikes. But I'm up for the challenge. So, peace.